Welcome to Tuesday's weather blog briefing. This is Doppler Dale Bader. Thank you for stopping by this afternoon. See the picture there of snowy, icy streets. Many of you along the I-40 corridor from Amarillo to Little Rock to Memphis and even up to Nashville will likely be seeing this type of scenario later in the upcoming week. Let's take a look at the surface map. You can see an Arctic cold front pushing into the upper Midwest. A lot of clouds with some snow showers down across portions of the mid-Mississippi and over to the Ohio Valley and even New England. And notice that area of low pressure coming onshore there near California. That will be a player with the Arctic boundary later this week. Here's the current temperatures this morning, showing a lot of cold Arctic air plummeting into the upper Midwest with temperatures in the single digits, even some sub-zero readings up there across Minnesota and the Dakotas. And here's the system off of California that will become a major player as we head into the upcoming week. Watches and warnings, anywhere you see the tealish blue, those are flood warnings in effect. The grays from Amarillo through Oklahoma City into northwest portions of Arkansas, that is a winter storm watch. And that's because here as we take a look into Wednesday evening with the ADA model, you can see a cold frontal system that is draped from about Indianapolis to St. Louis with some light snow, maybe mixed with sleet across portions of St. Louis. Also showing that with the GFS model. But the GFS is also trying to print out maybe a little bit of light rain starting to break out across portions of Texas. Some heavier snows, though, back into Utah and into Colorado. That also shows up with the Canadian model as we take a look at it right now for Wednesday evening. Also producing a little bit of light snow mixed with sleet for St. Louis up to Chicago and Indianapolis as the first little bit of energy comes out with the cold Arctic front sinking in. But the big energy is spinning up back in the Four Corners region. Here is the European model for the same time. It is a little bit further to the south. Also, though, it does produce a little bit of light snow shower activity up there across portions of the mid-Mississippi River Valley with more snow back into portions of Utah, Arizona, and Colorado. We jump ahead 24 hours into Thursday evening, and you can see the cold frontal boundary basically sitting on top of the Tennessee Valley back into Memphis, Little Rock, heading on down towards Dallas-Fort Worth. A large area of heavy precipitation, likely in the form of sleet and snow, across portions of Oklahoma, definitely the panhandles of Oklahoma into Texas. Here's a look at the surface temperatures, and the solid blue line is the 32-degree line. So we could be seeing some freezing rain from Oklahoma City to Tulsa to maybe Fayetteville, Arkansas, as we head into Thursday evening. That'll gradually transition over to sleet and then snow, and you can see that here on the ADA depiction of precipitation type. That dark blue is freezing rain, the pink becomes sleet, and then the blue, the lighter blue, is where it's anticipating snow with some light rains or steadier rains for Dallas on over into Little Rock as you head into Thursday evening. The GFS model is a little bit further to the south, still produces quite a bit of heavy precipitation for northern Texas, from the panhandles of Texas through Oklahoma into northwest Arkansas. Again, a mixture of precipitation types there across most of Oklahoma. If I take a look at the surface temperatures, you can see that it's colder with the surface temperatures through Oklahoma and Arkansas. And so likely going to see still from Little Rock to Fayetteville and into Tulsa, frozen precipitation in the form of likely freezing rain or sleet. Further to the north and to the west, it'll be some very heavy snowfall that will be coming down. We'll take a look at the Canadian model. Again, a very similar depiction. These models are surprisingly very well in agreement here this morning and early afternoon, with the heavy precipitation there across the panhandles of Texas, Oklahoma to Oklahoma City, cold Arctic boundary sinking in to almost into the Tennessee Valley. And here we take a look now at the European model. Now notice it is a bit further south, that low pressure system sinking down into the Big Bend of Texas, the Arctic boundary through right basically to the Tennessee River on this depiction. And again, the heavy precipitation with wintry mix for Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Fayetteville, rain in Little Rock. We jump ahead to Friday morning, and you can see now the area of low pressure moving into western portions of of Louisiana at this time. Very heavy rains, frozen rain and sleet of Tulsa and in through northwest portions of Arkansas at that point. The surface temperature boundary takes the 32 line down to northern Alabama, the Tennessee border. Precipitation just to the north. That means freezing rain likely along the I-40 corridor from Nashville on down to Memphis, likely continuing back into Little Rock at this time, with snow being depicted there by the model into Fayetteville, Arkansas. The GFS is a little bit further to the south, into southwest Louisiana, still with heavy precipitation across most of Arkansas into southern Missouri. Snow possibly breaking out as far north as St. Louis by this time. 32-degree line, very similar to where the Ada had it, maybe a little bit further north there, north of the Tennessee-Alabama line as well with Mississippi, but still freezing rain likely for the I-40 corridor from Nashville to Memphis, unfortunately. Canadian model, again showing a very similar depiction. Snow maybe a little bit further north on this model, well into St. Louis at this time. I think St. Louis, you're on the northern periphery of the system, maybe an inch or two before it's all said and done at best. Most of the heavier precipitation will be down from Cape Girardeau to Poplar Bluff, for those of you in Missouri. European is definitely more south with this system at this time, taking it down across a very far southern tip of Texas. We jump out ahead into Friday morning with the, Friday evening now with the Ada model taking the load near to Tuscaloosa. Some very heavy snows for portions of extreme southern Missouri. The 32-degree line just to the north of northern Alabama, but crushing through portions of Arkansas down past Dallas-Fort Worth at this point as you head into Friday evening. So fortunately, though, Nashville, you're staying at or below freezing, it looks like, and this means a ice event likely, if this is all right for you, continuing back to Memphis and into Little Rock. Alabama, northern Alabama, you're right now, if these models are correct, the American models anyway, likely keeps you rain through much of the day on Friday before transitioning it late on Friday to the chance of a mixed bag of precipitation and then some light snow on into Saturday. Here's a look at the GFS with the 32-degree line. It does take it a bit further north. If it's right, maybe Nashville, you transition briefly from freezing rain back to rain before you go back to frozen rain, but it's going to be tough to erode the Arctic air once it settles in. So I think once it reaches 32, you're likely socked in at 32 or colder for the duration of the event from that point forward. The Canadian just a tad further south than what the GFS model is, but the European is definitely further south, taking the low closer to Mobile. If this ends up being true, northern Alabama, you may get into a bit more of the freezing rain on the day on Friday before it transitions. And notice it has the precipitation still well back into Oklahoma Friday evening, so that means the precipitation will linger later on into your Saturday. Tune in again on Wednesday. We'll have an update with the latest with this situation, and stay tuned to your local media as well for the very latest in your neck of the woods. Thanks for stopping by.